Hello, Facebook. This is Julia here. I'm going to be joined by Karyn Leigh in a moment, one of my clients and someone who I really admire how she's growing in her business, growing in her visibility, and especially growing her understanding of authenticity in how she does her work and also in how she's showing up on the stage. So we're going to bring her on right. Karyn Leigh is watching. Bring them onto the camera. Yes, please.
Hey.
Oh, there you are, Hen. Let's see if we can turn it to the side. No.
I've never done this, so if mine, do you want me to turn it on its side? I don't know.
No, this will be fine just here. I'll move over outside.
It's authentic. It's authentic.
It's authentic. Yeah, and I'm in this today at the studio down like doing my corporate thing. So I feel a little different today, but I'm really glad that we get a chance to connect about this topic.
Thank you for inviting me. As you know, I get so much out of your coaching. It's just meant so much to me. I love it.
Oh, well, thank you so much. And our topic today is, what is authenticity? What does that actually mean? To me, as I've been developing my work over the last 4 years or so, I've heard this word authentic or authenticity thrown around a lot in the world of public speaking for sure, but also in the world of business. And then like the work that you're doing, Karyn, like in terms of what it means to be a woman, like we want to be authentic. And so what does this word actually mean when it's thrown around in these different contexts? And I'll just throw it over to you to say, what do you think authenticity is?
Well, again, I learned even more from you about finding it in my body. I've been a yoga teacher for many years. I want to be living and speaking from my heart.
Right.
And that feels to be the authentic place in my own physical body that I like to reference for a source of authenticity and vulnerability, and keeping in touch with, okay, what am I feeling and how do I relate with others from, I'm holding my phone. I didn't get a tripod set, so it's okay. And how do I authentically relate from a heart space? Because we all have all kinds of wounds, defenses, conditioning, fears that can sometimes get in the way of our authenticity, because it can be scary sometimes to just show up and be ourselves. And what does that mean,
Yeah, interesting. Are those blocks or fears or whatever you're talking about, are they part of the authenticity?
Maybe just kind of coming clean about it. Like, I'm feeling vulnerable right now, or I'm feeling nervous, and bringing that to the situation we're actually in. Oh, I'm human. Imagine that. I have stuff.
Yeah, I really like how you talk about it in terms of the body and in terms of the heart, because that's my experience as well. Is authenticity is being present with whatever presents itself.
Mm-hmm.
I think I got that somewhat from Jonathan Bender, that definition, one of my mentors who I studied public speaking with. And he says something like that about authenticity. Authenticity is being present with whatever presents itself. So in any moment, there's going to be something arising, and you are who you are.
I wish I could write that down. It's memorable, being present with what presents itself.
It's a tweetable. Yeah, so at any moment I'm going to have a real experience, and my authenticity is being able to be with that, right? So like, for example, in this moment, I'm in my corporate zone, a corporate mindset a little bit. I'm in my corporate outfit, and that's how I'm like orientated right now. Which it's true. I sort of go back and forth between our embodied feminine world, and then I go into this other world, and so right now I feel this little bit of a push and pull inside of. I'm in this space that's not mine, and I'm connecting with you from this other world, and so I feel this push pull in me, and a little bit
Mm.
less, I would say a little bit less free than I am when I am just at home or when I'm in a space with the ladies. But does
Yeah.
that mean I'm
I,
being myself? What was that, Karyn?
oh, I'm just appreciating your authenticity, and my connection, I think, went a
Oh,
little low for a minute. So it's just technical things can bring us into the present moment too. It's like, oh,
yeah, yeah, exactly.
sometimes
So
there's a
you,
glitch.
you have a great story around. I'll use my own words of coming into, like you say, body love or appreciation of yourself as you are, maybe is a way to say it.
Yeah.
So I'd love to hear just a short version of the journey to greater authenticity for yourself, and then if you want to get into like how that led you into the work that you're doing now.
Sure. Thank you. Yeah, I struggled for 33 of my 48 years with so much body image stuff. I compulsively exercised, dieted, was always concerned, and at a certain point it even became an obsession about being healthy and
Mm,
trying all the ways of eating that were supposed to make you unblocked and and keep you super healthy, and so much of it was externally sourced.
oh,
And at a certain point I realized, oh my gosh, I'm basing so much of my behavior and kind of kooky about it. no one ever no one else ever saw me as fat, but I was so obsessed with looking, especially as a teenager. I grew up in LA. I wanted to be a model. And I actually went around to modeling agencies, and I was 5'8", and they told me I was a little short, and I weighed 118 pounds, and they told me I needed to lose 5 pounds.
oh my,
So it's like they want you to be a complete non-woman to
right,
be
yeah,
in that world. And so I was constantly rating myself. I was constantly berating
yeah,
myself.
right.
And when I started practicing yoga on a regular basis, I gained that interior perspective
Mm,
on myself, on my body. I spent time every day for 8 years meditating. And I mean, even some of that was obsessive compulsive, because then I had a teacher who said, I think you need to shift because it became an identity. Like, I do yoga and
yeah,
meditate every day. But I learned a lot about internally sourcing
mm,
my feelings and my view of myself from a smiling heart.
mm,
And that's basically what I help others to do now, is to source their perspective from the inside, and build each other up, because as women there's just so much
yeah,
out there telling us that in order to be beautiful and lovable, we have to look like this, we have to have this kind of skin, and we're human, we age, our bodies change, things shift. And so in my work now, a beautiful part of it is when women gather together at my workshops, we lift each other up, and we're really committed to changing the beauty paradigm to that inner perspective.
mm. Wonderful. Deborah sent a heart about that. Deborah Thornton
Ah,
Gerard. I don't know her personally, but maybe you do. Yeah, I love that story. Thank you for sharing it. I relate to a lot of things in it, especially around the yoga and meditation thing that is meant to draw us inwards and out of identity things. But I, in my own experience, had a very strong, solidified identity as a yoga chick, as a yoga teacher, as a spiritual, new age girl. I had a lot of identity around that. And as that's been breaking away, this actually happened a few days ago that I was in a yoga class and I was really struggling. And it was like an easy class. It was a really easy class. But I felt so weak and so stiff. Everything hurt. I was just like, ugh. I remember when I was this yoga chick who could do the scorpion everything and the, up on my head and backwards and whatever. I could do it all. And I felt so empowered that I could do the good pose better than everybody else. And I remember when I was in that phase, I would go to a yoga class and I do my pose and I'm in my mind thinking, everyone's looking at me thinking I'm doing the best pose in the room. And then I started to hear myself having that thought. And I'm like, wait a second, Julia, that's not what this is about. But it was very hard to get out of the habit of that kind of thinking. And I would say the authenticity is lost when I'm in comparison mode, right? Am I as good as other people? Am I better than? Am I less than? All of that comparison mode stuff. And then the authenticity is lost when I'm in self-consciousness mode of what do people think of me? Or, am I doing it right or badly or all of that? Then I'm stuck in my own head as opposed to actually dropped in. And so I've had the blessing in my life of a lot of breakthrough moments where I've gotten out of my head and gotten a glimpse into life and myself without self-consciousness. Oh, it's just wonderful. Like I'm thinking of a moment. I always talk about Poland when I was doing my training over in Poland, theater training, and there was this exercise we were singing, so I got up and I sang "Fly Me to the Moon." It was like the first easy song that came to my mind that I could sing. But I don't know, something happened and it just flowed like butter out of me and my whole body moved with it. And I was in ecstasy for a moment over this simple song. And I could feel the whole room, all the eyes in the room go like right on me. That sort of thick air started to happen. So what my experience, when there's authenticity in the room, it's magnetic and it draws us to that person. We don't even know why. There's something so powerful about authenticity. And that's why it comes up around public speaking stuff, of course, because it really works ultimately. But I can really see for your work as well that authenticity as a woman allows us to just enjoy ourselves, to enjoy this body, to enjoy other women, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and it sounds so simple, and I think we often, at least for me, I'll just speak for myself. We conceive, oh yeah, I understand that on an intellectual level, and it really takes practice and specific ways to practice to really get it in your body.
Yeah.
It took me, I mean, I maybe realized some of these things, and yet I just remember the day I was in Sicily. I used to be married to an Italian and our boys were born over there. And anyway, I spent the summer at the beach. And I remember when it lifted, it was actually a choice that I made to love myself the way I was in a bathing suit and enjoy the food. And like, so what if I have a little fat on my butt? I mean, so what?
I can't even imagine
it was
you having
liberating. You're so liberating. And it took however many years of really caring. And I mean, I don't think anyone else cared about my butt, but it was that self-conscious thing. And getting to the so what and then sticking with it. And that's actually a really fun practice when something is agitating, is just to add a so what.
I like that as a little tip. That's good. So what? So to bring it
So
back
what?
to our revelations here today, like we were talking about what is authenticity, and I shared that authenticity is being present with whatever presents itself, moment to moment. And Karyn shared some great examples about her journey to really accepting herself as you are right now, and then saying, "So what? If that's the case, so what?" To me, I hear it's like it's all good in that, right? It's all good
Yeah.
as it is. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
Share with us a little bit about these upcoming workshops, Karyn. I know that you talked about these great exercises that you do that honor each of the women that attend to your event. So I want to make sure that everybody watching and sees this later has an opportunity to come if they feel inspired. So share a little bit about it.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes. The workshop's called Body Love for Deeper Intimacy. So when I talk about intimacy, I mean, sometimes that gets associated directly with sex, and it can be, but it's really about our connection with ourselves and being intimate with ourselves in a heart way. And my experience is when we start to have that relationship with ourselves and that intimacy, that authentic relationship with ourselves, because even we can be that way with ourselves, that self-consciousness can take us out of our authenticity and get in touch with it, then that makes it possible in our relationships with others. So we do some kind of edgy exercises, and I keep it secret because it wouldn't be as edgy. Although I knew what I was guiding, and I still participated, and I was like, "Woo, that one really works." And spend some time first seeing what's getting in the way of that authenticity, and then we do some Kundalini yoga, which is always fun. It's very accessible. It's not competitive. Everybody gets to go at their own pace and just be in their bodies and with themselves. And then we do have beautiful ritual where each woman gets to receive some act of love, pleasure from the other women. And it has varied from one woman, her mother made fun of her hair when she was in 8th grade and she wanted her hair brushed. She's now in her 50s. So we offered her appreciation for her hair and just adoration. So it's very touching. And yeah, if you're a San Francisco Bay Area woman, I think Julia posted the link, and it is here in my retreat center house. So it's supposed to be a nice day this Sunday. So we'll be outside in the nice nature, and yeah.
Wonderful. It sounds beautiful. It sounds luscious and feminine and it's just ultimately luxurious as a woman to give ourselves this as a gift. I think it sounds like a gift that a woman would give herself. Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you for
Yeah.
sharing it. And similarly, you can come give yourself a gift with the Embody Your Voice event as well. I've been posting about it like crazy these days, over and over each day. So you guys already know about it, I'm sure. Uh, what I see as the biggest thing around authenticity in this event is what Karyn was mentioning, and I think you even mentioned that you started to really get that through our work together. That
Yeah.
authenticity arises through the body, through the truth of the impulse that's in your body, and when that is able to move through your body and outwards to an audience, woo, you are unstoppable on stage. You can be felt, you're magnetic, and you are very inspiring to an audience. So I want that for all the women out there in my world in the Bay Area. And the link is in the post to learn more about that event. Karyn's actually in the video, so you can see Karyn.
Yeah, and I'm coming again. I won't miss it.
Yeah.
It's so much fun too. It's just like your work speaks to me on so many levels.
Oh, that's lovely. Oh, I love it. Oh, wonderful. All right, hon, well, so good to talk with you and unpack this a little bit. Thank you for coming on with me.
Yeah, thank you, Julia.
Bye, hun. Talk later.